Here we had to pause the set. Apparently, being an augmentation team leader is a pretty hectic schedule. So, you're
as I was saying, like there were several events throughout the deployment that occurred that were very good stepping stones. However, I don't feel that there was any one particular moment or anything like that that was like a climactic moment or anything. The closest thing that would be coming up next in the chronology of things, I think, would have been the 5K run.
Okay. Would you kind of explain to us what the significance of the 5K run was all about?
Well, according to all the locals, they had a 5K run every year for years. They had not had one for 5 years in the city. And the route was always from the bridge locations along Michigan and then ending around the Jemiah area, and they would have a big celebration. The people came to us with this idea, and they wanted to do it. We were a little hesitant, just being that, you know, large gatherings of people are an obvious target for the terrorists. But we went with it. We coordinated on the IP side and the military side, getting the security down for it and everything like that. And we had Iraqis running on a road that was one of the worst roads to drive in Iraq for a long time, running in shorts and t-shirts, 5K through the city, culminating in a celebration right out by the firecracker intersection. And Marines, IPs, civilians, all out there having a good time.
Okay, so this same street, not all that long ago, say a year ago, unless you were wearing flak and helmet, you were going to be injured, just depending on how bad.
Oh, and absolutely. And you were not going to be walking around that street. Like, you were going to be bumping and bounding across it. You were spending a little amount of time along Michigan as possible.
So the Iraqis, they were the ones that started this. So
correct.
And the only thing they wanted of y'all was what?
Just help with security, and that was basically it. They wanted us to be at the party.
Oh, really? So there was a celebration afterwards?
Yeah. Actually, like Captain Mines, Lieutenant Hinka, myself, Lieutenant Larson, all got a trophy at the end, along with like the winner of the race and some other Iraqis. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. I was actually at one of these celebrations. There's an awful lot of dancing and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the Captain Mines and Lieutenant Larson, the XO. They were actually in the mix of these Iraqis celebrating and dancing. Is that part of the whole augmentation experience? Are you supposed to get out there and take part?
It's all just embedding yourself in the culture as deeply as you can go. Dancing, eating, smoking, drinking, whatever they put in front of you, like, that's part of the game. So you just got to be willing to call their bluff sometimes.
Oh, what do you mean by?
Oh, they'll put a glass of like curdled goat's milk in front of you, which they love, and like, you know, they're watching you, like, is this guy gonna drink it or not? And sometimes you just got to pick it up and slam it down. So. Oh,
really? So you find yourself doing some of these things?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I ate a sheep's face one day, which hopefully I never have to do again. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting experience.
Yeah, some things can't be unlearned.
Exactly.
Okay, from this point, you did the 5K run was done. What was kind of the next stepping stone in the deployment?
Moving on, I'd say we started moving in closer and closer to Ramadan. This is a major issue just because Ramadan historically throughout Iraq has been an increase in enemy contact.
Well, why is Ramadan such a targeted month?
Well, it being the holy month of the year for Islam, obviously, and when you are an Islamic fundamentalist, it's pretty much time to go to work. Also, I think a lot of people who maybe sit on the fence traditionally about the occupation and things like that are more easily coerced into following that distorted view of Islam. As far as, you know, the occupiers are in your country, you need to do something about it. So it's just historically a very dangerous time.
Okay. What steps did you take, or did you actually participate in Ramadan?
As far as the fasting goes?
Yes.
Yes. I think almost every augmentation team leader did. But by this time, you have to understand, we were not operating on Marine schedule. The augmentation team leader is not. We didn't operate on Marine Corps hours. We operate on Iraqi hours, which mainly means like you go to work late morning and then you work till early in the morning. Like you go to bed anytime between 2 and 5. So we were already eating our meals with them. Most of us have not touched the Marine chow for almost 7 months now. Just basically getting our life, our daily schedule as close to theirs as possible to facilitate that cooperation. So when Ramadan came, obviously they reversed their schedule. They do not eat or drink or smoke or anything with their mouth during the day, and then they're up all night, eating, hanging out, talking. So that's exactly what we did, especially the augmentation team leaders. We reversed our schedule. Slept a little bit later in the day, got up. We fasted with them throughout the day, and then at night when they break the fast, we would sit down and have a meal with them every single night.
Okay. You were saying augmentation leaders actually participated in the fast. What about the other Marines in the augmentation team? What did they?
I'm not sure if the other augmentation teams. None of my Marines did, but we talked about it about a week out, and we laid some ground rules. In the commons areas where there are IPs and Marines together, the Marines voluntarily said, they're not going to eat, smoke, drink, dip, any of those normal functions during the day out of respect for their IP counterparts. So they would just come into a closed room, have their lunch quietly, whatever, and then they would just go back to work. The IPs immediately noticed it right off the bat. It didn't have to be waved in front of their face. They noticed that there's no water bottles sitting out. Marines are not eating. Marines are not smoking, and that just shot the respect level through the roof.
Okay, so that helped kind of increase the relationship between you and the IPs, even though at that point, from what I understand, you already had a fairly close relationship.
Absolutely, yeah, we had a really close relationship, but this just really helped put us over the top and cement it.
Okay, I understand that apparently the poor during Ramadan rely a lot on the mosque for their meals or evening meals.
Correct.
I understand that there was some part of that delivering the food or whatnot to the mosque that y'all helped set up.
Yeah, what we did was we found, just through talking to people, that culturally what would happen is the poor people of the community would go to the mosque to get their breaking of the fast. The mosque would supply the food, and they would have a big dinner for orphans, widows, people like that. So what we did was we started supplying bulk food to the mosques, knowing that through the mosque it would get directly to the people who need it. So it really helped out throughout the month of Ramadan.
Okay, well, there was a traumatic event or a tragedy per se.
Right at the beginning of Ramadan, Sheikh Sattar Abu Risha was killed.
He was the one that was responsible for the Anabar awakening, was he not?
Yeah, he was a key figure in the awakening. I think he was located in Jazeera. He definitely supported what happened in Ramadi, but he was a nationalistic figure. Met with government officials from across the world about what was happening in Al-Anbar and looking to spread what happened in the Anbar province to Baghdad and other cities in Iraq. We were, as the Marines, we were extremely worried to see the fallout of this. The terrorists had definitely hit the figurehead for some people of that movement. The civilians and the IPs came out strong. They increased their security, taking extra control measures. The people put out their own IO posters of him saying, he's a great man, he's a martyr for what he did. However, this movement is unstoppable now. By killing one man, the terrorists, you have done nothing. So.
Okay.